Greetings, friends at MVUF. I was at the memorial site of George Floyd's death yesterday during an interfaith clergy vigil. As I stood there, I felt grief, anger, and even hope. I noticed lots of sensations in my body: tension, heat, tightness, and expansion. I also wondered what to do next. My usual pattern is to be in my head, rush to action to fix things, make change, get results, because I want to help end racism and prove that I am a good white person. One thing I am learning, though, is that racism also manifests itself in our bodies. Whenever we are stuck in our heads, it can be helpful to pause and practice checking in. As we do this, we grow our capacity to be present and connected with ourselves and others. This is exceptionally important as we bring George Floyd's murder by Derek Chauvin back into the center of our awareness and turn toward our personal and communal responses. Rachel Martin, an anti-racism trainer who is focused on helping white people learn embodied anti-racism practices, suggests ways to help us move away from defensive racialized stress responses so that we can welcome discomfort and foster cultural repair. She suggests, first, we yield with humility. We do this by pausing and slowing down. This moment and movement we're witnessing is specifically about Black bodies. As white bodies, we may find ourselves wanting to jump to action, to fix things. But when we notice this urge, we need to pause. This uprising is about yielding to the righteous grief and rage that Black bodies are experiencing from centuries of systemic dehumanization, including lynching of their Black bodies at the hands of our white people. She suggests yielding with humility by deferring to and centering the needs of Black bodies. Follow direct calls to action by Black organizers. Laura sent out resources in her message earlier this week, and I encourage you to look at those. We can also lift up and center Black voices. Follow and share with fellow white people the words and voices of Black organizers. If we're on social media, before we post, we can also ask ourselves to wait. Why am I talking? Is it to grow an anti-racist community among white people, or are we seeking validation from Black people? The second thing she suggests is that we disrupt with resilience. The first place to disrupt is within our own white communities and spheres of influence where we already have authentic relationships. Minneapolis City Council Vice President Andrea Jenkins said it best on her May 26th Facebook video. She says, "This is all of our responsibility. I'm hearing from a lot of white people that are outraged and that are saying, I demand that you do this and that. Well, I need you to talk to your uncles, cousins, relatives, and others who are running around here with guns, who are intimidating and terrorizing communities. I need you to talk to those people and hold them accountable too." She also suggests resisting and disrupting by finding where we fit in the broader community. As white people, we need to show up with humility and resilience in solidarity with Black bodies and other bodies of culture. We need to be truthful with ourselves and each other about where we have authentic relationships and where we don't. Showing up disoriented and needing to feel helpful creates more work for people on the ground. We need to risk being uncomfortable and find ways to engage while simultaneously tracking information that lets us know where we're needed and wanted and where our bodies are experienced as a nuisance or even a threat. Before we do anything, we can find out what is already being done. Embodied anti-racist practices and actions need long-term commitments embedded in relationships. We might ask ourselves where, how, and with whom can we commit to sustained action? Finally, we can educate ourselves and learn in community with white bodies that we are already in relationship, like those here at MVUF. We could start by reading or rereading My Grandmother's Hands Racialized Trauma and the Pathway to Mending Our Hearts and Bodies by Resmaa Menakem. Perhaps we could start a regular check-in with a group of white people to support each other in growing embodied anti-racist practices. It was actually Tom Ellinger who sent me this information from Rachel and is wondering if some of us here at MVUUF might like to start such a group to learn these embodied anti-racist practices. Do let me know if you would be interested in joining a group like this or reading Resmaa's book. The road to ending racism is long, but you don't have to do it alone. We can do it together in this beloved community. I hope this turns out to be so. Amen.